Hi, everybody. It's Paul Inglesian. I'm a licensed therapist, and Joe Muirhead asked me to present one of This is Private Practice presentations, and I am honored to be here. So I am so happy about it, and there's no way that I can do justice to the kind of delivery Joe does, so I'm going to do my best. Joe asked me to speak about staying relevant, which I think is really something that resonates with me, certainly. And I thought about certain things that go into that, and certainly I have certain pointers with regard to that. Um, First thing I think about staying relevant is it's important in this day and age of COVID is to see the changes that have occurred as opportunities. So certainly there are opportunities for challenges as well too. As we all know, with COVID and sheltering in place, we all had to jump on to learning the technology about Zoom and really learning how to operate that and really helping our clients with that. Other challenges of not being in the office, certainly, maybe not running groups or trying to run groups through telehealth. So all these have been changes, and we need to be able to adapt to some of those changes. And some of those changes are going to prompt us to do other things as well too. For example, some of us have gotten into doing more master classes, for example, or providing CEUs, providing other classes for clients, for example. So these are all ways that therapists are really thinking about being relevant in that way and staying on top of adapting to some of these changes. Another thing about being relevant is using your own natural assets and strengths. Maybe you're really good at networking. Maybe you're good at connecting the dots in a certain project or getting things off the ground. Maybe you're just a master blogger. Maybe you see ahead, you see some of the trends before anyone else does. So tap into some of those things because those are your strengths that are going to help you remain relevant in these very challenging times. The other thing is be authentic. I'm thinking during these times of COVID, when clients ask me, how are you doing? I'll share. I won't tell them my life story or how I had a total meltdown the other day, but I'll share that it's been hard, it's been difficult, I've had to adjust, maybe it's affected some of my normal routine, and all these things validate clients' feelings. They are felt that they are heard, they are felt that they're able to express what they're feeling, that it's not strange, that you also are a person that may have experienced it. So it really helps in terms of the therapeutic process to always be authentic, because I think clients know when you're not. And I know Joe has stressed that out. Clients can see through us. So if we're trying to cover up or we're not telling them the complete story, they can read that in us. And so I think in order to really be relevant in terms of connecting with our audience, connecting with our clients, we really need to be authentic in everything that we do. It's also not an all or nothing game where we're either relevant or not. I think it's a process of adapting, a process of looking at what are the opportunities in front of us, how can we maybe package what we do differently. And so I think it's a strategic way of thinking about being being relevant rather. Probably said relative certain times, but also shift ahead. What's going to be happening in your business tomorrow or the next day or next week or in 5 years? Joe has these wonderful work sheets that comes from her entrepreneurial clinician book about really looking 5 years ahead. What are some of the things that are going to change for you? What are some of the things that you love? What are the things that you want to spend more time doing or not doing? These are really important to consider. And having that vision in terms of where you want to go. Also, what are you curious about? Maybe that following your passion is really a great way to stay relevant. You're unique in your own curiosity and what you seek in life. And so, what are you curious about? What really resonates with you? What kinds of things do you want to find out more about? Pursue those things because those are the things that are going to help you stay abreast of the competition, to stand out about who you are as you progress in that way. Don't forget about self-care, certainly. That's so important. Staying relevant with your health, staying relevant with your downtime and your self-care is so important as well too, because if you're neglecting that, you certainly won't be very effective in anywhere else in terms of your relationships in your business and at home. So of course, maintaining that is so important. Also boundaries too, being able to say no, because I know for me, I'll take on business or I'll just work and I'll say, oh yes, I have more time for that. Sure, I can do that. I can work some more. But then I don't really free up that space where I can be curious about things, or really to have those creative moments where there's some downtime where I can put some ideas down. I like flow sheets. I'll put a flow sheet, like I'll say, all right, this is what I want to do. So what's going to lead me there? So I'll have all these little arrows and boxes. And working backwards in terms of where I start from the bottom up to where I want to go. And that helps me. And I think being creative and curious are really great ways to do that. Know your customer, know your client. That's so important. Joe really stresses that out. Joe talks about an exercise where you write about what your client feels. Put yourself in your client's shoes. What are they experiencing? What are some of their challenges for them? What kind of help would they best resonate with? How are they going to feel heard? How are they going to feel maybe not heard or not really taken seriously? These are all really important things to really know who your client is. Your ideal clients is really important, and that's another way of really being relevant with regard to what you're doing, what you're reaching out, how you're connecting with clients. Certainly, social media, that's a great way to stay connected to clients, connected to other therapists, other referral sources. Certainly, that I use tremendously. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I've even tried very poorly to make TikToks, but there are therapists who are using TikToks in a very creative way. I've seen using therapeutic questions targeted towards their audience about how they're feeling. For example, teens, how they're feeling maybe unmotivated, or they're feeling isolated, they're feeling depressed. These are where our teens are. For example, a lot of TikTok, of course, there's a younger audience, except when you see me, there's other old guys like myself who attempt to use TikTok. But there is our clients there, certainly our younger population is there and getting the words out. In fact, there's one gentleman who has, I think, 8,000 followers on TikTok, and he talks about ADHD, and he's really focused on that. So I think it's a great way to get a message across. The thing about social media, and I don't do this as well as I should, comes from Joe's book, is that you want to be clear about your message across all these platforms. So if your website doesn't mesh with what you're putting out there, and it's totally different, clients are going to be more suspicious or maybe not take you seriously. So it's important to really have, when you have a presence, to be consistent across all these platforms in terms of what you're presenting. And I think that's really important in terms of relevancy, of course. Also, don't just communicate when you're on the platforms or you're on social media. Engage. I try to engage with people I know. I won't just put maybe a thumbs up or a heart here and there. That's fine. But if there's something that is therapeutic or something I want to share or something I want to be authentic about, I'll engage. And I think drawing people in that way, other therapists, certainly with clients as well too. If a client will contact me for information, instead of just giving them a pat answer about what I do, I'll say, well, what are some of the things that you're looking for? I'll try to engage them in a conversation, because again, as Joe says, people don't remember your title or the evidence-based practice that you do. They'll remember how they felt. How did you make them feel? And and were they heard? Those are fundamental. We all know that, but I think sometimes we forget that when we're pursuing all these extra trainings and titles and things like that. We really forget about our I had my stopwatch going just to make sure I didn't go over, and of course it didn't start. So I'm going to keep talking, and hopefully I'll stay within my time limit here. All right. Another way that I stay relevant is my tribe. It's who are the people that I have constant contact with who are innovators, like Joe, like Ernesto, Jill, Sherry. I could just name all of you out there. You know who I'm talking about. You are so innovative, and I'm always so inspired by what you're doing. And these are kinds of the things that will show me that, hey, I need to be thinking more about this particular thing. For example, Ernesto has set up this amazing studio in his house. I'm thinking, yeah, that's true. It's the background is so eye appealing, and the colors and the woods and the textures, and so that would be another way when I'm thinking about doing a master class or presenting a series of anxiety management for clients to do. What's some of the things I can do? So this is a great way to stay relevant by really being part of your tribe and seeing what other people are doing, because there are some amazing people out there that are doing some amazing things, certainly. Um, and also clinical consultation. I think that's so important when we have a case that we're working on. Consulting with a colleague and getting clinical supervision helps us be more aware of some of the things we're doing and provide more additional ways of staying relevant in what we do. Certainly, being in therapy, getting a coach, these are great ways of staying relevant. Coaches are usually obviously knowing what is best in terms of getting your business across, being successful, and how do you define success? How do you stay relevant? These are things that are so helpful. So these are some of the ways that definitely that you can remain relevant in all these ways. And just embracing change, as I say, thinking outside the box, being innovative. Sometimes we get tunnel vision, we do things a certain way. We're so used to maybe going to the office, seeing clients, but instead now, of course, we have to adapt. We're on telehealth. What are some of the things that we can do? How can we reach more clients? How can we could provide the kind of service that we want to do? And then consider cross industry collaboration. My friend Jim Bloomfield, who's a acupuncturist, and in traditional Chinese medicine, reached out to me, and we're starting to collaborate to see how can I provide a value and a collaboration to practitioners of traditional Chinese medicine and vice versa, so that we can collaborate. Because certainly, I'm just learning a lot about it's so complicated, but with traditional Chinese medicine, there's so much about helping people be balanced, about looking at where they may have anxiety in different systems of their body and how do you access that, and energy movement. And so some of these things are so helpful with the clients that I work with traumatized clients. I have some very anxious clients. I work with people who have some very severe depressions or very severe anxieties. And so this collaboration can be so helpful with really helping clients. And so that's one area. But think about all the different collaborations that you do. Certainly, how can you reach out to other industries or other healthcare professionals where you can collaborate? That's certainly a great way to think outside the box and to remain relevant in what you do. So hopefully I got the time limit right, and I really appreciate that. And I wish you all a great day. Thank you.